Then again, there is also a lot that was happening. You know, a man having more than one wife in my village was something normal, as long as they could afford. Yeah, you were wondering if I'm from Stone Age. Yeah, I'm born in 70s. This is my early 80s when all these things are happening. So I had to ask myself really what I wanted, even in that level of a child, just barely knowing what life looks like. 4 years later, I joined high school. Yeah, I went to a high school. Unfortunately for me, high school that's mixed boarding high school, where we had the juniors from Form 1 to Form 4, that's 9th grade to 12th grade, and then from Form 5 and 6, the last phase of Form 5 and 6, because then my country was transitioning to a new system of education called 8-4-4. That means 8 years in primary school, that's lower. Then 4 years in high school, that's Form 1 to Form 4. And then 4 years in the university or in college, whatever your country calls it. Before this, we had a system where we had 7 years in primary school, then 4 years in secondary school, then 2 years in higher secondary school, that is Form 5 and Form 6, after which you go to university for only 3 years, and then you're done with your studies, unless you want to continue with the masters and PhDs. So I was caught up with this system. I was in the 3rd year of the system since it started. So these high schoolers were the last ones clearing out. So I went to the school where I saw those in high school, you know, the Form 5s and Form 6 looked like my parents. You know, they were old. They were looking really old. I was a young girl. At the age of 15, I'm Form 1. But to my surprise, relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, this was just normal. The only thing that was different is that this school was a Christian school. So the rules were very strict. No girlfriend, no boyfriend within the school setting. If you were caught having a relationship with a boy, whether it's rumors, whether it's confirmed. Do you know what used to happen, guys? I remember these things like yesterday. You will be left to continue your relationships. Somebody will be following you as a spy quietly, and unfortunately this will be another student like you. And then we used to have parade on Mondays and Fridays to sing the national anthem and to be told how the week was going or how the week is ending and the programs for the week or programs for the weekend. So during this very day, depending on when you were caught, if it was towards Monday, then on Monday morning, we are called, summoned to a parade, then you are called in front, you and your partner in crime, and then your parents, your both parents who have been invited, you know, without your knowledge, will emerge from the head teacher's office, and then a wedding will be announced to all the students and teachers at parade between you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend. And then it will be said that you have decided to marry while studying. And since this is a Christian school and they don't encourage any kind of knowledge before marriage, they have seen it good to just hold a simple wedding for you so you can just get married nicely and you start a family. So you are summoned to the front. You are asked to hold your hands together, whether you are 10 of you with your partners or 2 of you or 1. And then the wedding is conducted. A few words, strong words. You will be reprimanded in whichever way, and then you are sent home. You are handed over to your parents. And that becomes the end of your studies. But if you happened to come from a well-to-do family, your parents will see the head teacher later. After the parade, they will plead with them. You will be punished severely, but again, you will come back and continue your studies. If you didn't have such strong families, you already know what happens to you. So you see, as scary as it was, we could not dare to have such relationships. I cannot say for sure that they weren't there. We used to see them, especially between the older guys, the high schoolers, the Form 5, the Form 6, and a few fourth formers. And, the first year, second years, third years, and fourth years were just Form 1s to Form 4s were just like being misused here and there, but nothing serious. So guys, that is the situation in which we found ourselves. When you are a first year freshman in college, in school, in high school, the seniors kind of monolize you. Being a mono means you are in first or in Form 1. So they monolize you kidogo, a little. They trick you here and there. They take some of your things. They make you work. We used to do a few things here and there. If you become so stubborn, you can be slapped or beaten up or what. So we always had godfathers, godmothers to take care of us as we joined the school so that we don't fall in the hands of these guys who are police, who will monolize us, who will mistreat us, who will punish us and all that. But, well, I had a very strong background, and most of my people, because we are Christians, we share the same church at home, had gone to this very school, and that's how my dad got to discover this school. You don't have really to be called to that school for you to join those schools, in your village. Somebody can walk in if you have good marks and they seek admission and you get. It's okay, that's happened. That's what happens, I think, all over. So my dad had gone there because his friends had taken their kids there, and the kids seemed like they were so Christian and everything, and my dad being very strict, and he could tell me to my face, if you ever get pregnant, I'll cut you into pieces and feed you to the dogs. Otherwise, I'll kill you and bury you near the river. Guys, I'm serious. That's what our dad used to tell us when we were growing up. You try to become pregnant while you are in school, cut you into small pieces, feed you into the dogs, and forget about you. Or, if it's that bad, I will bury you near the river and forget about you. So, we never used to joke. We nicknamed him Major until this day. He has never known why, but that's how we quietly call him, the Major. The Major from the military and all that, One of my sisters used to call him the colonial guy, because she felt that he enslaved us with fear. Not just, we respect him 100%, but most of it, we feared him. We do till today, but not as much as then when you could not stand before him to complain about anything, whether you are right or wrong. If he says you are wrong, you are wrong. You just receive a few of the canes he'll decide to give you, and you smile and walk away. Otherwise, he'll make you write full scarves and full scarves of compositions of why, what happened, where, when, and how you want him to punish you. And that will be very bad. So, to cut the story short, with this fear, and then me never wanting to fall in love with anyone, I really didn't care much about these things happening. So I knew I would not be found in such quagmire of being wedded in front of the whole school with some boy. So I was a bit arrogant and stubborn, but not to the teachers, and not negatively, positively. I knew my lines, I knew what I was doing, and I knew when I was, crossing the line. And so I really was very keen. I was not very bright. I was just an average girl there. And I thank God our music teacher noticed me almost as soon as I entered that school and selected me as one of the class prefects. So then, as a prefect, I had some privileges, like not doing the cleaning, not fetching water from the river, which was a bit half a kilometer away, not collecting litter. Those are the things you do if you are not a prefect. Clean the class, clean the dormitories, pick litter around the dormitory, around the compound, and then sometimes weed the flowers and fetch water when we are in scarcity, if there is no much water in the compound. If we are in short supply, then you have to go and fetch water. You fetch as much as you can for you and for the prefects, So at least I was kind of favored there. And also when it came to meals, as a prefect, of course, our meal was served separately and we got the top layer. So at least I had the privileges. And with this, I was happy to nobody could just go about, joking with me. So I was there, very arrogant, very stubborn, and a class prefect. So I was so lucky because later I even became a dorm prefect, which is a bit higher than class, and then I became a games prefect, and then a debut head girl. So I had a few things here and there. In fact, with that, there were these boys, of course, who were very naughty, who used to tease me, who used to, as usual, they cannot miss amid crowds. Especially there were some two guys in my senior, who were my seniors, and they always teased me. One of them was a hard nut to crack. He was well connected, his parents are teachers, the senior guys are his friends. He comes from just across the fence. So he had all the, the right strings to pull. So he really didn't care whether you are stubborn or arrogant or what. So, and then he was so tiny, he was so, black, so dark skinned. He was just there. Very tiny, but very sly, very cheeky. So he used to kind of come and tease me. He could just pinch me and run. He could call me whatever he wanted. I never took a lot of interest in him. I just was. The good thing is that most of his friends were also my friends. So we were just there. But he kept sneaking on me until I was like, we really had what we call hate-love relationship. He's my friend, he's not my friend. So it continued like that, like they are my seniors, who was 2 classes ahead of me. And I had friends, yes, boyfriends, but not intimate, But they, according, you know, that's the kind of relationships most of us had when we were in high school. You go to drama, to music festival, then you meet this guy, you like one another, you say you become friends, but soon as you go back to your school, it's like as good as over, because one, they cannot write you letters, you will be summoned. You know, the letter comes to your school and the teacher on duty will read all the letters, and if it's from a boyfriend, they will write in red, "See me after class." After class, you go to see the teacher. Of course, you get the punishment, or you can even be sent away, depending on how serious the letter is. What is it talking about? That you've been seeing each other doing things, or what? Otherwise, if it's just a letter which you have not responded to, that's a light punishment. Who wanted all that shame? So somehow, letters came, of course. I got myself into those kind of conflicts, but apart from the few things here and there, I wasn't that much of a wreck. So, guys, that's how I kind of completed my high school without a very serious relationship. Then, because I got not so good grade to take me to, universities in my local country, my dad decided to send me out of the country for studies. So, I really wanted to study. One of my friends was already in university, my senior, who really saw a lot of interest in me. But I had also said I would reciprocate only if I was also in university like him. Had encouraged me so much. So when my dad suggested that I have to go out there and get my degree, I said that is the best choice that could have come. So I went to India, did my studies. While there, guess who I met there? My naughty boyfriend who used to sneak on me, and we had like a love-hate relationship, but not close, not apart, Oh, they were in India, they were doing their studies. I'm in India, I'm doing my studies, but we just say, oh, hi, how are you guys? How are those people? How are we? Like that. Nothing serious. So, again, I come back home. Now, immediately I arrive back at my country. This is 1998. My parents feel that I have to get married. No sooner had I arrived, actually, than my dad got me a job with the Teacher Service Commission, so I became a high school teacher. And so, just like our culture, then, parents, like some family, have an alliance, negotiate, and then they bring their kids in, introduce them to each other, and tell them, yes, you have to marry. This is what you have decided, And those days, you don't question. It was not as bad as before that time, but at least still, it was happening. Till today, it happens to some families still, back home where I come from. And there's nothing wrong. They're looking out for you, for us, They want to make sure you have security, you've gone to a good family, blah, blah, blah. The way we parents behave. Even me now, I'm started thinking like that. Can you imagine? So, they introduce us. I really did not want this kind of relationship. But you know what? Your parents remind you how much they have invested in you. They have sent you out of the country for studies. They have paid so much just to make sure that you are okay. You have come back home. They have got you a job. So you feel like you owe them. They are so excited to put you into this relationship, and they feel it's the best thing that should happen. So with that feeling of so guilty, I went with the flow. We got engaged. Then, while in this relationship, I just started asking myself this question: is this really what I want? I don't feel for this guy. He doesn't feel as much. We are just like trophies for our parents to see. But that connection, it wasn't there. Trust me. It was like two slaves who are working together to see if they'll find a way out. So the guy did not mind. He seemed happy. He seemed settled. He's like, I'm okay with it. You are beautiful. You are okay. You're working. I have money. So what else do we want? Our two families are great families. You know, we are of the same status. So what else do I want? Then I'm like, but I don't feel anything. It's like, you'll come to love me. No problem. Yeah. If it's money, it was there. If it was what, I had it, but really I wasn't happy. Somehow I just started kind of fighting back, but indirectly, doing things that would annoy this guy before we finally get married. And somehow, somewhere, he got tired of me and my whining and my complaining and my everything. He just got tired and he just told me one morning, I can't do this. I think it's enough. We are going nowhere. It's not happening, you know, it's not happening. Then I'm all smiles. So I just pack my things one morning and go back home. And then my parents are like, what happened? What have you done? Blah, blah. You know, they make a lot of noise. They make it look like the world has come to an end. But really, it's not. Do you know the only thing I told my parents? If there was any chance I was marrying the father of my fiancé, I would not have questioned, because he is mature, he looks okay, he looks like he can take care of me. But with his son, I don't think this can work. So I'm sorry, it's over. Thank God I had my job and I had my own place. Because the next thing my dad said is that I don't want to see you anywhere near my compound if you are not going back to that man who we are planning your wedding with. I just said, fine. I went to Teacher Service Commission, demanded for a transfer to a faraway school. Thank God I was given. Because I'm a go-getter. I had to. So I went. Guys, I just felt like I have been relieved from I don't know what kind of prison. I started life afresh. Little did I know that I was already expecting my first child.